If you've been watching your revenue and wondering why you still feel stuck, revenue isn't the number you should be watching. And I know that might sound backwards because revenue is the number everyone enjoys talking about. It's what's in every screenshot, every income report, every I hit six figures post. And it's not that revenue doesn't matter, it's that revenue alone will keep you stuck in the exact feeling we talked about in the first video, making money and still feeling like something's off. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the numbers most creative business owners are focused on and the ones they're completely ignoring. And by the end, you're going to have a very different idea of what to actually pay attention to. Here's the thing, the way most people track their finances makes total sense. You watch your revenue because that's what you can control. You know what came in this month. You know if it was a good month or a slow one. And when you're trying to grow, revenue feels like the scoreboard. More revenue means things are working. Less revenue means something needs to change. That logic is completely reasonable, but here's what it misses. Wrong number one, revenue without actually knowing what it cost you to make it. Let's say you had a $10,000 month. That sounds great, but what if $4,000 of that went to a contractor? Another $800 to software and tools, $500 to ads that didn't really convert? Now you're looking at closer to $4,700 before you even pay yourself. Revenue tells you what came in, but it tells you nothing about what you actually kept. Wrong number two, looking at profit without knowing where it's going. Because even when people do look at profit, most of the time they're not asking the next question. What is actually eating this? And what I find when I sit inside a client's numbers is there are almost always a few things quietly draining profit that no one's looked at in months. A subscription that auto-renewed and got lost in the noise, an offer they're still running that costs more to deliver than it makes sense, contractor support that made sense 6 months ago but doesn't match the current workload. None of these feel like big deals individually, but together they can quietly be the reason a $10,000 month feels like a $4,000 month. Wrong number three, only looking at this month. Month-to-month thinking is one of the sneakiest traps for creative business owners because creative income isn't linear. You might have a great February, a slow March, a strong April that comes in from work you did in January. If you're only ever looking at this month, you're constantly reacting to a snapshot instead of reading the actual story. You celebrate the high months and panic during the slow ones, but you never quite get a clear picture of where things actually are. So if those are the wrong numbers, what should you actually be watching? Three things. First, profit margin. Not just profit, not just did I make money this month, but out of every dollar that came in, how much did I actually keep? That percentage tells you so much more than a raw number. It shows you if your offers are actually profitable, if your expenses are proportionate to what you're making, and if your pricing is doing what it needs to do. Second, your owner's pay as a planned line item, not what's left over after everything else. Your pay, built into the business, on purpose. And optional means inconsistent. And inconsistent means that we feel stressed, that uncertain feeling we've been talking about this whole series. Third, a rolling 3-month view. Stop asking, how was this month? And start asking, how are the last 3 months on average? That smooths out the spikes. It gives you a real trend instead of a mood, and it lets you make decisions based on what's actually true about your business, not just how last week felt. Girlies who cycle sync, if you know, you know. Now, if you're watching this and realizing you haven't been tracking any of these, that is okay. Most people haven't because no one teaches this. Not in design school, not in the courses, not in the communities, at least the ones that I have been in and watching. You were handed a revenue goal and told to hit it. And when that doesn't feel like enough, you assumed you just needed to make more or hustle harder. Ugh. But what you actually needed was to understand what was happening with the money you were already making. Here's the thing though. Even when you know these numbers, even when you're tracking the right things, it still doesn't tell you what to do with them. And that's the part most people never get to, because knowing your profit margin is one thing. Understanding what it means for your pricing, your expenses, your pay, your goals, that requires something else. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. A real business owner, a real situation, and the exact shift that changed everything for her. Because it's one thing to hear this in theory, it's another thing to see it actually work. So if you want to see what it looks like when all of this clicks together, the next video is right here. I'll see you there.